Hey, catch your picture on, motherfucker.
Oh shit. Hold up. I can't see. Oh shit. Oh, what up? What up, baby?
Going gang. Torrey, what's up, my man?
Hey, my guy.
It's been
How's
like,
y'all?
what, 2, 3 years?
Yo, it's been mad long, son. Been
Man.
mad long.
Yo, well, I'm glad we got up on this. I figured, listen, don't bitch to me about the camera quality. Don't bitch to me about the production quality because Jimmy Kimmel has been doing it for 56 days and y'all haven't said shit. So two niggas can do it and y'all gonna have to accept it.
That's right. That's
How's,
right, man.
how's life in New York City treating you, man?
It's, it's different.
You
It's
know,
mad different.
you see those stairs you're walking right now? That's why I left, okay? I tried it for a few months. It's too much work. I'm not cut out for that. It's physically
Yo,
taxing.
bro, I lost mad weight since I came out here, yo.
Oh yeah, it's impossible to be fat. I mean, if you're fat in New York City, that's a commitment.
Yeah, you
It's
really
like
trying to be fat.
it's like a Von Michaels joke. Well, shout out Von Michael. How do you let how do you let your caloric addiction outweigh your crack addiction? That is one of my favorite jokes.
Yeah, man. The city's the city's interesting, man. I'm glad I left though.
I'm glad you left. I'll tell you this, man. I've been all over the country except for the middle parts. So doing
Mm.
comedy and no cap. Hampton Roads has one of the best scenes of comedy that I've come across, you know. Uh,
Mm.
in terms of developing and cultivating comedy, bro, I've never, I don't know. We came up in a good place and didn't even recognize it. Just in the diversity of thoughts and the diversity of comedians, the diversity of audiences. You know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah, that's true, man. Like since I've been out here, it's crazy because there'll be some mics where they'll let you go like 7, maybe 8 minutes, and then seeing comics out here get on stage and not know what to do with that time.
right.
When in Virginia, 10 minutes you just get it at an open mic. You just get 10 minutes.
Well, let me ask you this question, because I'm sure you were starting to move out of emceeing and the featuring as I was when I left. Uh, is it difficult now going from getting like starting to get feature time and learning how to build that act, which is different than trying to build an open mic act or an MC act? Uh, how do you feel about not getting that 15 minutes to be able to like work on your act in general? You know what I mean? Like, have you felt that at all?
Yeah, I feel that a lot. But what I've been doing, what helps is instead of doing as many jokes as possible in one, like what I'm saying, like one set, just take one thing you want to talk about. Hey, what's up? It's my roommate. He's on TLC. Just to let y'all know.
Nice.
Yeah.
40-Day Fiance,
I,
that's him?
I only live with entertainers.
Hey, me too, my guy. In the trap house, I call it the entertainment trap house.
Uh-huh. But to answer your question though, I think I get the most out of talking about one thing for that whole amount of time. Because that's the only in New York you only get like 3 minutes, so you
Right,
might as well talk about one thing the whole time.
right.
But like that 15, once you got jokes that work in different rooms, like I mean, black rooms and a white room, that goes in the act straight
Yeah.
up.
No, it's for me, man. It's interesting because like I just hit the 6 year mark. Uh,
Damn!
yeah, I did, dude. It's
Congratulations,
crazy. Thank you. I've never done anything this long without running. So
man.
I take a break here and there, but I've never stuck with anything like this. But when I moved out here, what I had to realize is that uh, though we can do the 15 to 20 because we had the material to do it, and it's like start to make it tight. You know what I mean? And you realize that it's like driving a stick shift. You got to go fast. You got to slow down. You got to, massage the crowd a little bit. I don't know how it is in New York, but here in LA, it's 5 minutes. And for me, it's not about writing new jokes. I've learned it's the discipline of being spot on funny every time anybody sees me. And that means just doing the same 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Which, dude, it sucks and it's painful, but it's part of a discipline I'm trying to learn.
Yeah, same. Because it's, and I know you feel the same way when you're out in like a major, like a big city. Like, there's a lot of people that are really good that they're just not on TV yet.
Right.
There's a lot of people, so many. So like, you always want to be funny, and you gotta be consistent. Like, you gotta be consistent. Because if you bomb on a show, I mean, everybody bombs, but like, me being new, it's like, oh shit, like I don't want to, let you know that I can't do this. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy,
well,
man.
The interesting thing is to me is like, being around big comics in these cities is that I realize, like you say, like there's people so far ahead of us in the game that are still waiting in line to get their shot, right? That nobody has ever seen. But it's encouraging because for me, it reassures. It's not like a stardom chaser. It's like, yo, this is the lifestyle. This is what we do. Like, we just hang out in dirty bars and tell dirty jokes. And the goal is to be like, I just want to be the funniest out of, my group of friends or my group of comics. You know what I mean? Like, that's basically it. I just want to be respected. And then the business side of it, I'm not really worried about that right now because I'm not there. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Yeah, man, it's definitely like, the thing that hit me the hardest when I got here was the fact that there would be comics they'll have like throwaway jokes or something that they may be working on but maybe hasn't gotten their act. The people back home who have like closers and stuff, that's people in New York's throwaway joke.
Yeah.
Bro, when you I mean, you've experienced it when you see someone that's like not like famous or on TV or whatever, and they're still like working, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're still at like the open mic / like show level where they can like, talk to a host in advance, like, hey, you mind if I do like 5 minutes or something, whatever on your show? You see like killers.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna be honest. I saw more of that out in New York than I do out here. I did a Kill Tony, and Tim Dillon was the guest host, and I made a joke where I said I live with 4 gorillas because all my roommates we all niggas, and that just like that actually started a shitstorm out here because half the room was like, "Oh, you're being an Uncle Tom," the other half of the room was like, does this man hate white people? And so after the show, Tim Dillon and I talked for a little bit. He goes, "Yeah, you got to move to New York. Like you, like
oh shit,
like, this is you. It's not gonna work here, right?" So I appreciate that advice, and I think not for a year or two, but that move over to the East Coast probably is gonna be coming, just because there's more killers in New York skillful at the art of comedy. You don't have to be funny in LA.
Yeah.
You just have to be cute and likable. Like, if you can go and be popular, then it works. But I mean, and then at the same time, there's still a bunch of killers out here that will never be famous or the world won't see. But you know what I mean? It's encouraging to still be able to hang out with them, and they be like, "Hey, man, that was a good tag, or you should try this or whatever." So,
man. Like it. What's funny is, I was dating a comic back home, and we both kind of started at the same time, but I understood that our sensibilities were different.
Right.
Like I knew even before I even, was with this comic, like I knew I was going to New York. So closer to me getting to New York, they decided they wanted to go to Atlanta for their own reasons.
And let me tell you, I think
And
both make perfect sense.
yeah, I'm glad you see that. I'm glad you see that because you can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's good for someone isn't always good for you.
No,
You know?
it's not. And this is like I like to say, I'm a gypsy. I live month to month. I keep my overhead as low as possible. Rent $600. I live in the living room. Like, if I need to, I can be out tomorrow. Like,
yeah,
man. And I
like
was actually,
traveler.
bro, I've always been like that. And because I used to work in politics and shit, and I was getting paid good money. But like, I'm a comic, bro. I like being a dirty comic. I like the lifestyle. It's addictive,
Yeah, it
And
is, man, for real.
I'm learning at 6 years that I got another 10 years before I get where I want to be. Because there's a guy out here named Amir Khalil, who I'm sure in 2 years is going to be a household name, who he's so good at comedy. He's just funny with a twitch of his finger. Like, and I was just sitting there watching this dude sit on the stool, and he had the room laughing at his hand twitches. And I was like, what year do you learn how to fucking do hand twitch? Like, you know what I mean? Because like, as you learn little secrets, and you're like just for me, like the whole luckily again, we've been blessed enough that we got to work. We got to get work. We got to work on the weekends. We did like even bar shows, and you would learn doing your act in 5 minutes is a lot different than doing your act in 15 minutes. And, or 30 minutes. I think I did 30 minutes a couple of times. It's like, yo, you have to take a long time. You have to slow down. It's not, jab, 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 uppercut. It's like, you got to massage the pussy. You got to play, like, it's a whole process. And for me, I was frustrated out here because I felt like I was regressing because fuck it. I was better than every one of my peers for the most part, right? Because a lot of people were just starting or a year or two in. But this isn't about the art of stand-up. This is about the art of being a comedian, which is a big umbrella term, but it has to do with show business. It has to do with a lot of different other things. And I'm not knocking anybody, but, I will say creatively, I am always a little frustrated because I have not been able to grow and learn how to do 15 to 20, make that better. Because I was learning how that works. And so, I don't know. I want to be a stand-up first. You know what I mean? Stand up, not, Instagram comedian or actor. Those things come after, but stand up is first, So.
Yeah. When I think about people like you, like, you're definitely the epitome of, like, the raw and true form of stand-up. Because, like, I remember, like, the first 2 times I saw you, I was like, and being in Virginia, like, first 2 times I saw you, I was like, damn, he's so honest. He's so honest. And a lot of people, they see what some people are doing, and then it's kind of like the generic form of it.
Yeah.
And then it's just like there's club comics, and then there's, like, I call them, like, the other comics. Like, you have the other comics, they can do both, but the club comics, they're really good, like, at the clubs. And, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, some people, like, the perfect example, the person that I was dating, like, they were doing jokes that I couldn't really relate to,
Right.
because I didn't grow up like that. I didn't come up from, like, their background, and it's all about relatability. So, like, I couldn't relate to that person. They were still funny,
right?
But I couldn't relate to them. My sensibility leans a little bit more towards, like, the dark or negative or the messed up aspects of, like, what I'm seeing and what I'm experiencing. So, like, when you see someone like the other, like, when you see someone like the opposite of me,
I envy those people. I envy, I've learned, and Kazi's taught me this. because you start off going through. Everybody's got to go through that high school bickering drama bullshit. But I learned like if I didn't like this comic, it had like fuck this nigga on site. If I'm sitting in the back of the club talking to Dylan, like yeah, it doesn't matter what I say. The audience is going to tell me, like, you know what I mean? That's the great equalizer. And so that taught me that like everyone has a different style of comedy, and it has nothing to do with me. My type of comedy is not necessarily palatable for everybody. I get that, but at the same time, they can't do what I do.
That's true.
The tricky part is when you're a black comic or you're a minority, you need other minorities and you got a network. Now, guess what? Yeah. Well, if you're not necessarily circling that drain anyway, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, exactly it's only really like 4 or 5 of us, because especially in LA. See, in LA on Monday nights, you have Kill Tony, you have Potluck, which is their open mic. They draw names, like the first 10 get up.
Oh, I've heard of Potluck. Okay.
And then the next 10 are like other comics suggest you. So do you know Angelica Mackey?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she was suggested one night. She wasn't even on the drawing. She was like they gave her a spot. So
nice.
You get but that's the Comedy Store. But right down the road at the Improv, you have Monday Rays with D. Ray Davis, and it's every black comic is at Monday Rays, right? So you got to make a choice. What am I doing? Am I going to be at the Comedy Store? Am I going to be at Monday Rays, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, sometimes I think I'd be at the wrong place. I'm like, damn, I should probably be over at Monday Rays. But you
never know, man. I mean, there's
I have no allies. I'm a man. I'm an army of one, my friend. My job
you're
is
a lone
to piss
wolf.
everybody off. Even if I agree with you, I'm gonna find something about you I don't like, and just because I don't like, that's my whole style of comedy. I want you to be like offended, but also realize that I'm talking so much shit about myself that you shouldn't take anything I'm saying seriously.
That's true. I think in that realm too, like speaking for myself, I dabbled into like I feel like the direction my comedy is going is like, this sounds very uncomfortable, but you can't deny that it's not true. And I'm gonna prove it to you with this joke.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's the best part. It's like, I went through a crisis of faith in comedy a little bit after I got out here, and it was after like they were starting to fuck with me, like hey, Tiffany Haddish is gonna be here tonight. Are you gonna be here? Like, oh, you want me to come do that thing again? And so, for the first time in comedy, I was conflicted because I'm going, am I shucking and jiving, or am I being real, right? And so, because I'm so unique and my comedy is so unique, I wasn't back home anymore, right? So these are people who aren't even used to seeing people not like them. And so it was polarized, and it fucked me up in a way, right? But I had to realize something. I can't really give a fuck if what I say offends you or doesn't offend you. My job is to tell you what I see. And if it comes from love, then it's okay. Like, we're philosophers out there on stage. We like, if you take this craft as seriously as I take it, I want you to be driving home thinking of a joke, going, haha, oh, yeah, that nigga there just said something profound, So, but that takes work, man, and like,
you gotta listen. Like, like one of the things that helped me being in New York is the little amount of time that you get, because that makes you get to the punches quicker. Like, you can't play around like you're in like Virginia with your 10 minutes. Like, you have 3 minutes that you paid $5 for and or 2 drinks for. So you can't be
those
messing
drinks
around.
Start at $8.
Bro, it's insane. Like when I first got here, in 11 days, I did 35 mics, and I was not fucking around. Like, people were like, "Wow, man, like
Yeah.
you're everywhere. Like, you're
Yeah.
like, bro, I really respect your grind because like you're everywhere." And also too, like, people. When I was in Virginia, I would ask people that, whether I knew them or not, I would ask them, like, yo, what's it like to be in New York? And everybody said the same thing. You don't know until you actually get there. And I got out here October 16th. I got laid off from my temp job that week. And then I sold my car 3 days after that, booked the bus one way, just came up here. I had no plan.
Oh, so this was really, let me tell y'all, this was not a plan. This was shenanigans. This was, no, I did the same thing, bro. I was working on campaigns, and I was splitting my time from like because I would come out to the Kazis and I'd be there for months and just be killing. And then I'd disappear for months, right? I was out there on the road making money. And then I quit that, and I just booked a plane ticket out here, and I was like, yo, fuck everything else. But I want anybody listening to know, it always comes from me fucking everything else up. Everything else burned down first. So it pushed me off the ledge, and here I stand.
Yeah, we didn't deliberately walk. We got pushed.
And yeah, and but we're still standing here, man. And that's what the good part is. And I do want to say, since you were blowing smoke up my ass, that I respect your comedy as well. That's why I always
that means a lot. That means a lot coming. I'm telling you, man. Like, you were the first person that I seen. And I was like, yeah, he gets it. Like, he understands this thing called life, and he's projecting it in a way that
how about this?
We can understand.
Let me tell you this, and that comes from drugs, ladies and gentlemen. No, seriously.
No, I
took Stephen Belkowski. Shout out to him. That's my right hand man. That's my brother. Like we go to war for each other out here, and we're always bringing you up. But
bro,
I'd trip on acid, and then one day I just had a thought. I went, if everybody just told the truth, every problem in the world would be solved by just everyone telling the truth, right? That's literally all it takes. But the truth is terrifying. It is scary. I'm telling you. You said it about me.
Civilians. No, go ahead.
I mean, you said it. You said like to me, like, oh, this man is not afraid to tell the truth. I'm telling you, I'm terrified to tell the truth, and it's scary as shit to tell the truth. And my dad, he'll stay out of my way largely, right? And he knows I'm a wild boy. But he's like, all right, you take care of yourself, and you don't call him fast money. But I'll show him some clips because I'm just trying to put shit on the internet now. Like, fuck it. And he goes, you can't be saying what you said, in front of white people. And I went, oh, that was an all black audience. He went, really? I went, yeah. He's like, well, some people are going to hear this. And I went, I want them to know, fuck them. Like, but you have to commit to telling the truth, which is scary.
Yeah.
And it's hard work, but you have to do the work on yourself to grow, man. Like, I took myself off stage out here after the Kill Tony debacle, just because I didn't know who I was, right? So I had to do a lot of reflection and growing and like hard work in getting myself straight, so that what was coming out of my mouth and heart was love, so that it translate back into the comedy. Because, not to be arrogant, I'm not concerned about being funny anymore or learning how to be funny. I'm hilarious. At this point, it's putting in the work of crawling up the ladder, But again, I can't force comedy, bro. Especially the type of comedy that I do. So if I'm depressed or if I'm not right mentally, I have to step away. I can't get up every night. No. If I'm fucked up in the head, D Green has to back off stage, because I say so much crazy shit. It has to come out of my mouth correctly.
Man, and see, that's what I'm talking about with you. Like, when I saw you, I was like, he gets it. And like, for people like us, like, we automatically what I noticed about myself was there's some things I want to talk about, but there's a lot of people that haven't lived my life, so they don't know what I'm talking about, and it's like so far outside their life. So
And you're black, so you have to double that, right? So now you're dealing with. So now not only are there's gonna be a lot of black people who aren't used to hearing your perspective, right? Because it's not the stereotypical black perspective. But then you have a lot of white people who are just gonna be shocked because they got lullabied in the beginning, going, "Oh, well, he's not one of them." And then when you start hitting them with haymakers halfway in the middle of your act, they're going, "What the fuck just happened?" And you know what I mean? And so really, you're working in the middle with just people who have to be cool. So you know what I mean? Like, you just got to be cool. Like, if you come in with an agenda, like, you know, I can't go and work in Atlanta and grow there. It's not gonna work for me. They'll call me an Uncle Tom and run me out of town. I can't also hang out with the white elites out here in WeHo, or when I was in New York. I was a grizzly pear guy. I would go to, what's that place in Queens, the Creek in the Cave, stand up New York. But like, I can't also go hang out with the super duper whites. I like poor white people, and I like real ass. I just like real people, like people from Hampton Roads. I'm telling you, bro, Hampton Roads is a special ass place. It's racist as fuck. Don't get me wrong, but we have a special breed of racism, which is called like, yeah, we're all a little bit of racist, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to tail to. I want to tail it to is how I was raised. If it offends people, oh well, fuck you.
Yeah, and it's like it's what helped me, because I want to go to what I really want to talk about so much, is I started treating audiences as if it's like a first date, you know, and I'm trying to get that pussy. Like I'm not finna open up and be like, man, fuck all this chicken and shrimp, yo, let's fucking fuck right now. Like, I had to learn to be like, all right, I want to talk about this really controversial thing,
right?
But I can't just. I mean, I can, but I want to hit them with the Allen Iverson low, and then cross them up. It's like, oh.
But then, okay, so let me ask you this question though: with the 3 minutes, one of the things that I think I would notice for myself, especially in New York, because in LA, listen, LA is not New York, all right? Like, we got some beasts out here, but it's not New York.
No, it's crazy.
When I was in New York, I realized that, like, if I wanted to work on something, right? Because first you get started trying to get a reaction. The laughter's your validation. And what I got from my New York stint was, I'm here to work on something, and I need to record it so that I can hear the cadence of it. And if it sounds right to me, fuck if you're even gonna laugh, because it's a room full of, dude, again, we had open mics at Kazi's with packed crowd.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You get me? So that's something that most comics do not, like, they can't understand. Like, when they're like, yo, why are you so good? Because my open mics were in front of live audiences. Like
people, like actual people.
Like, you know what I mean? And that's the other thing about, like, we're always trying to do like algebra and trigonometry with our comedy and take it to a higher level. But what I always remember, or I have to remind myself, is at the end of the day, the audience just wants 1 + 1 = 2, right? You can give them the simplest shit and they'll laugh. And that's really my job. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, I don't know where I was going with that. I'm off. But
it's definitely figuring out what it's basically really just figuring out who you are, like the closest you can get. And that's like my huge prioritized goal right now, is like being 100% the same person that I am off stage, on stage, as far as like how I'm bringing these ideas to people, how I'm starting to talk to people,
how long have you been on this journey of trying to merge both on stage persona with your real life? Because I feel like your on stage persona was really who you wanted to be, right? And then like at a certain point you have to be like, oh no, but I have to be this person off stage too. How long have you been on this little realization and trying to practice?
Man, when I first started doing comedy, I was like, man, the people that I like, I feel like if I saw them off stage, that's exactly who they are off stage.
Yeah.
And I couldn't feel like that with certain people because like some people's material would be better than the performance and the performance better than the material. But the people that I like, it's like, no, everything goes together because this is them.
Right.
Maybe slightly, obviously because of the
Exaggerated.
context,
Yeah.
you got a stage and you got a show and there's people, whatever. But Nate Bargatze, he's one of my favorites. He is like I listen to podcasts with Nate. Anytime Nate's on a podcast, I listen to it because how he sounds in a podcast is how he sounds on stage.
Hmm.
And I was like, damn.
I'm new to the Yamanika Saunders party. I just found out about her a couple months ago.
Oh man,
dude, and she is an inspiration to me. Like literally, she's like, she didn't even know. She's like, what I would get from Joey Diaz when I first started is what I'm getting from Yamanika now, and it's like, because like, dude, I loved and idolized Joey Diaz. Like that's who I was mimicking on stage.
I remember that.
Like, and to the point where,
I remember that.
Now, if you see me on stage, it's not a Joey Diaz impersonation. It's Devontae. But like that also happens because like I'm doing open mics with Joey Diaz and like, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh wait, this is I can't listen to these podcasts. I can't watch you because now I'm out with you. And so, you know what I mean? But Yamanika she thinks the way I think. She's challenging. She's offensive.
Yeah, she is.
She comes after people. She offends white people. She offends black people. She offends women. She offends Jews. She offends gays. But she's always got a point of love, and she's always talking shit about herself. And I didn't know what I wanted to say about the Ahmaud Arbery situation, because one of the things, whether you find it controversial or not, I think is that like it's not fair to be black and have the burden of being black. And like I think we have to say to us, you don't have to carry all of our burden. Like it's okay to go, you know what? Like I need to do me. Like, and not out of I don't care, but out of, at first for me, I was like, I'm not watching this video. Like, I know what's gonna happen here. I've been in the house for 57 days. Like, I haven't fucked. I'm a sex addict. You can't get me angry and tell me I can't fuck. But I realized that I'm a leader. I have a voice. Like, I'm learning how to use the voice. Come on, enter. And Yamanika posted something about like, come on through. Asking your white friends when you hang out with them to break bread with you. If they can break bread with you and they can hang out with you, then they can be posting things and saying things. And so, I was like, yeah, that is something that I can challenge my white friends to do. And then I decided, well, what do I want to do? I don't want to sound angry, right? Because hurt and pain is weak emotions. Those are easy emotions. Like the higher elevation is to be constructive and to be objective. And so that's why I put that little video out where I was like, I'll just put up Dr. King about love, bro. Like, yo, let's just you can't and more importantly, like we know what happened, we see what happened, let's stay on that ass. But I just seen too many people being angry, and I'm like, you can't be angry in anything you can't control, So shout out to Matt Barnes, by the way, for doing a run.
Matt Barnes.
Everybody in LA. My nigga, I smoke more weed than anybody and smoke cigarettes and I drink, and I should not be alive. But I ran like 3 miles and I pulled it out of my ass. And to me, that was constructive, right? It gave people something to do. It was healthy. You got an unhealthy nigga like me to run. It was not just bitching and moaning. So, that's my whole thing, man. I'm about that ass.
Yeah, for real, man. Like, for definitely finding who you are and like being around like one of my good friends from Virginia. I don't know if you ever met or heard of Chris Allen.
No.
He's a comic out in Virginia. He runs a show, him and Winston, at the Southern in Charlottesville, Virginia. And he would come up here because he works with Mark Norman. So he hit me up. He was like, hey, man, I'm in town for like a week or however long. You trying to hang out? And I was like, yeah, like I don't have no family here. I don't have no
Yeah.
friends here. I don't
Yeah.
know nobody. And I was like, yeah, this is gonna be cool, man. I've never experienced what I experienced in that fucking week when he was here. I would have never experienced it. Like going to the stand, seeing Big J Okerson and uh damn, why am I having a brain fart? Luis Gomez, like seeing their show at the stand, seeing them and
Right.
watch.
And not in
I was,
spectator form. It's like, yo, we're kicking it. We're gonna go kick
yeah,
this up.
yeah, like bro, hanging out at the cellar. I mean, granted, I wasn't sitting at the table, but like seeing people like Dave Attell, seeing Nikki Glazer across the bar, seeing Yamanika. This is so crazy, and I don't like to name drop too much unless it's
No,
like
we name
know
dropping.
them.
I wish I had
But
some more
like
light because the niggas. Let me put my light on.
I'm Chris takes me to the cellar. The there's a restaurant connected to the cellar, and you go. We went in the restaurant, and we're sitting down. The table next to us is Yamanika and her whole clique, and it's me, Chris, one of my good friends, Gerard Fortune. He has a podcast with him and his band Cordero called Negro Jump, and it's two black dudes talking about anime shit. It's fucking dope as a bitch. So
Yeah.
we're all sitting there. Yamanika just comes to our table, and she's just talking.
Yeah,
We're all hanging out and shit. I was like, what? Then I look across the room and I see Godfrey walking in. I was like, man,
what is my life?
What?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what, dude? Because you're in the game, bro. You got a ticket. You got a position in line. You're very far in the back, but you got a ticket, bro. And like,
I went to. No, go ahead.
No, you go for it.
I two of my homegirls, they came from Baltimore, right? And we went to Little Italy, and I was trying to, from doing stand up, like doing mics so much, I really didn't get a chance to like enjoy New York. So I was like, damn, like, what can I do? I was like nervous, like, how can I like make them have a good time? Because they're not gonna be here that long.
Hold on, please press pause. I just want to press pause.
This is
a PSA to anyone that is hearing this. I'm just gonna speak on behalf of Torrey and myself, both LA and New York, coast to coast. If you do decide to come visit, just like text me and say, hey, I'm coming to your town.
Please.
But yeah, I don't want to see you. Like, and if I do see you, like, please come to me. I'm not coming to you. And by the way, I don't want to see any of the things you want to see because I live here. So as long as you this out, you're more. You can sleep on my floor. You can sleep on my fucking in the cot. You can sleep. I will break bread with you, but just you leave me alone.
Yo,
please continue. I'm sorry. I just want to put that out.
No, we went to. So I was like, oh shit. Okay, well, they know I do stand up, so I took them to a show, like a show at the stand. Now, it was the 8:00 show, and the people that were on the show, I've seen. I'm a comic, so I don't know them, but I know of these people. But I wanted to see one person in particular, because she's fucking amazing. Jessica Kirson, like watching her live.
Jessica Kirson? Is that how people pronounce it? Okay, yeah, I've heard her. I've seen some of her stuff.
First of all, let me rewind. Before I left Virginia, the last show that I seen was Louis C.K. at the Funny Bone, and his tickets were only $30. I was like, what the fuck?
Hold on,
like,
sidebar. I don't care. It's up to you to remember where you left off because I'm gonna pick this back up.
No.
When I was in New York, this is gonna piggyback off of what we were talking about in general. This community is very fucking small. Okay, there's not that many of us. There's a lot of us, but there's not that many of us. Like Burr, Chappelle, fucking Donnell Rollins, fucking Delete, all those guys. We're bumping shoulders, right? So when I was in New York, I had heard a couple people talking about Louis because one of the chicks that had got jizzed on or whatever, she's in the circuit, And so I had heard that in New York, and then I came back down to Virginia, and I was kicking it with Steven, and I was high as fuck, and I was like, if I was Louis C.K., I'd get out in front of this, be like, hey, I just jerked off like in front of women. I didn't rape anybody. I'm not Weinstein or Cosby. And the next day, the fucking Steven wakes me up calling me like, dude, it's all over the news. Louis C.K. got me too. And he's like, how did you know that? I'm like, because our community is that small. Like, there's not that many that has been crazy enough to jump off the fucking ledge for a pipe dream that I'm pretty sure we're just lying to ourselves so that we can drink, do drugs, and fuck and party all the time. Like what's the end goal here? I don't know. I just want to have a good time.
It's definitely a lottery. Like, cause there's it's funny because like there's a lot of careers on the planet Earth, but like when you think about stand up as a career, like
mental illness,
no one cares. Like, it's a different level of people not giving a fuck. Like, you can be like, hey, I'm a doctor, or hey, I'm an engineer, and it's like, okay, well, you're better than me. I don't give a fuck. You tell somebody you're a comic, and they don't know you, they're just it's like, oh, this fucking asshole.
It's embarrassing.
I don't care about him at all.
Yeah, dude. I lie about being a comic. I just don't tell people I'm a comic. I just like, depending on what vibe I'm on, like, especially like if I'm like out at parties or some shit out here and I'm not trying to be on, like, oh, what do you do? I just wait tables. Like, because I'm going to stop taking disrespect on people saying, oh, you're a comic? Tell me a joke. Bitch, haven't I been making you laugh in this conversation for 6 minutes? You're not that fucking funny by yourself, dog. And I've had the whole room fucking rolling. That's what comedy is, And then everybody's like, I could do stand-up, and I've stopped. Joe Rogan used to be like, anybody can do stand-up. That's how I got into it. And I used to say that. But now when I hear people be like, I think I should try stand-up, I'm like, no, you shouldn't, and you can't. No, you can't.
I'm like, yo, you have no idea. It's a whole nother animal. You might get lucky, and your first time's really amazing, but yeah, do that for 10 years and try to make sure you do that same thing every single time you touch a mic.
For no good reason at all. Like, you just drive hours. Like, I've driven fucking. I drove to Richmond one night from Newport News for a show that I had the wrong week for. And let me tell you, I only had enough gas really to get there and back, and I was hoping I would get like a couple dollars. And so, like, you know what I mean? Like, just situate, like, nigga, I sleep on a fucking air mattress in a living room, and I'll tell you this, I've never been happier. None of it makes sense on paper. None of it makes sense on paper because I'm around creatives. I'm around some funny people.
Yeah,
I see the up and comers. I'm starting to learn how the industry works. Like, it's beautiful. Like, I now look at sitcoms and I go, the last thing I need to learn out of this is self-discipline, because there is no reason why we couldn't write a sitcom, like just the setup punchline, like of Blackish, which to me one of the greatest sitcoms all the time. Shout out Kenya Barris.
Yeah,
we could do that, and so that's what I'm loving about the journey. And so, success or failure, man, my friends that I meet out here that are musicians, that are dancers, that are porn stars, that are fucking just whatever, they're some of the most brilliant people that I'm hanging out with. So just the liveliness of my life is brilliant. So whether it works or not, I think I already hit the fucking motto, Jack.
For real, man. It's one of those things, because when I this is what happened. When I came to New York, I had 2 free nights at a hotel from me signing people up at my previous job in Virginia at Holiday Inn Express. So I had 2 free nights, got to New York, and I hit up Vaughn.
Yeah.
Vaughn Michael, because he was, he actually...
Shout out to Vaughn, by the way. I see you, nigga.
Yo, I thought he was living in New York. He was living in Jersey and coming to New York.
Vaughn doesn't live anywhere, actually. He lives on a megabus. That's how hard that nigga works.
Yo, he does.
He lives on a megabus. Salute to you, Vaughn Michaels.
He does.
No, I'm serious. I hit him up all the time. I'm like, bro, like, A, where did and when did this happen? And B, teach me, nigga. Like, I'm nothing but proud of you.
He's doing it, and everybody's path is different, and he's found a path that works for him. When I came after my 2 nights, I hit him up. I was like, "Hey, man, I got this hotel room for 2 nights. I know, you know, you live in Jersey and you're not, what I'm saying. Why don't you stay in this hotel room, man? Fuck it. I got a hotel room, 2 beds. Fuck it." So we stayed in there, and then after the 2 days was over, I hit up someone that I knew had came to New York. It was a couple, and then I lived with a couple for like 2 or 3 days, and then they broke up while I was
You
living
see
there
that,
with them.
Mrs. Huggins? You see that? Your boy was in New York for 2 days, and he already had to become a swinger, and he ruined the whole marriage. That's 2 days. That's what show business will do to you. Continue.
Yo, that shit was crazy. Like he told me, he was like, "Hey, man, you're gonna have to find somewhere to live." I was like, "When?" He was like, "Tomorrow." I was like, "Damn." So then I found this hostel, and I just lived in a hostel for 2.5 months, man.
What
$30
were you doing
a
for
day.
work?
I was fortunately from getting laid off in Virginia,
Nice.
I was getting unemployment, so I was getting $220 a week. But staying at the hostel was $30 a day, and I was paying for mics and
Yeah.
paying for food and transportation.
Bro. Listen, I get it when I would get the $2 slice of pizza right there, and like I would try to get water at Mike's. Like
Bro,
at a certain point,
two
it came to a point where I had to look at, and I was making good money, and I was still when I was in New York going, and even here in LA, I'm only going to pay for X amount of mics, right?
yeah, same,
Like
same.
you know what I mean? And I'm to the point now where I'm not paying for any mics. Like, and
Yeah,
and my fee is buy a beer or buy something, but I'm not gonna pay you to do comedy because what you know what I mean? You got to start putting levels on yourself, or you can't level
bro,
up.
I'm telling you, people. New York is a fucking animal. Like, imagine paying $5 for a mic, and it's like 10 comics, and no one gives a fuck. No one's even paying attention, and they're comics. Like, no one
But
cares.
here's
When
the
you
thing:
come out here, no one
it's
cares
not,
about
but I don't get mad about that because, dude, when I was in the city, man, I'm out, as soon as I get done with my set, I boom hit that left, come up the stairs, boom boom boom, daylight, and I'm like, yo, where am I at? Let me get off Bleecker Street. I got another mic I need to hit. I'm trying to get 4 or 5 in. Listen, I paid for this, and none of us are here listening anyway. This is me trying to get timing, and like that was my savage
it. Yeah,
mentality. You know
same,
what I mean? And
same.
so, yeah, but we got spoiled because we got audiences early. But this was fun, man. I gotta go. I got a lot of
Yeah.
things that I've got myself partaked in and lies that I've
Hell
told that I've
yeah.
got to fulfill. But yeah, I'm gonna save this file. Edit it up. This actually was a dope conversation. I'm gonna try to
Yeah, man.
edit up, put some shit into it. So
You're definitely one of my brothers for life, man. You're when you start doing comedy, no one really shows you love, but like you were one of those few people. You and Henry Pounders, y'all were the only people to show me love the whole like early in the game, and like I love y'all for that, man.
shout
Y'all
out
y'all
Henry
really make
Pounders and his cigarette joke. I tell people that joke all the time. I tell people the Henry Pounders cigarette joke all the time. Like I love that joke. So
it's so good.
it's
It's
what
so good.
hey bro, I'm telling you, man. And again, and that's one of the things is we sacrifice comfortabilities and pride so that we can live out here. But there's a lot of killers that are back home in
Murder.
town that I'm not better than. Like I'm telling you, God forbid John Small decided he wanted to actually do stand-up comedy.
Where is John Small?
He's
I don't know where he's
probably
at.
killing people silently. Like eventually the FBI is gonna get John Small. But I
I
found
have
a podcast.
no
Him and I
idea
went to
where
a
he's
gun
at.
range and then to a gun show when I was doing my podcast. And I'm like, dude, he was one of like to get back to how we started. I tell stories. He
Same.
set up punchline, set up punchline, set up. I envy it. I respect it. I can't do it. I can't do a set up punchline and save my life. But I respect the fuck out of that style of comedy. They don't always respect what I do, but I respect
Hey,
that.
I'll tell you one thing though. I'll tell you before you leave. I know you got to go, but like, get in where you fit in. Because when I was doing the roast battles back home, and I came up here, and I found out they did roast battles at
two particular clubs, I was like, oh shit. And then I found out a lot of the comics that are around or that I knew didn't like doing roast battles. And I did them all the time back home. So I found,
A niche.
a little bit of a groove when I
Yeah.
got in there. I was like, oh shit, New York Comedy Club, roast battle, the
Yeah.
stand, roast battle. Okay.
Nah,
Okay.
dog. Real shit. When we get back to regular business, I'm gonna do a roast battle because I never did them back home. Because my whole thing is I'm not gonna write material unless it's for me. But
I feel you.
Yamanika, I watched Yamanika go against fucking my god,
Mike Lawrence.
no,
not Jamar Neighbors.
Jamar Neighbors, another hilarious comic that America just doesn't know.
I seen him. He be at the creek like a mug.
Bro, just slipping in and slipping out. But she was doing the roast battles, and I was like, you know what, man? Comedy is a 360 game, and I got to challenge myself. So we're going to do this again, my friend, because this worked out.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Keep creating, my dog, and I'll holler at you.
Yeah, man. I'll see you on the TV screen.
All right, bro. Thanks for doing this.
Hey, appreciate you, man. Don't lose contact, man. I love you, man.
All right, love you too, bro, and I'll be in touch.
Word.
Peace.